Ready to beautify your home? The experts at Paper Moon Painting can help. Whether you've just moved to Austin and want to do a full repaint of your new house or want to update your kitchen cabinets with a fresh look, Paper Moon's team uses the best quality products for a gorgeous finish. They've perfected their process to get your project done on time, and the trained color consultants will take the stress out of picking the right colors. If you want to love your home again, Paper Moon Painting will help make it happen. papermoonpainting.com. Hi, my name is Mindy Hofman, and welcome to the Women of Austin podcast, where together we are igniting the power of women's voices. Hi, and welcome to the Women of Austin podcast. Today, I'm really excited about this episode. We are going to talk about purpose. Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I'm really excited. I want to start with a little get-to-know-you question. So we're going to start with Ashley, and I'd like to know something that people would be surprised to know about you.
I'm Ashley Spence, and I'm from Austin, Texas. I now have my own foundation. It's called the DNA Justice Project. I work to educate the public and policymakers on the value of forensic DNA. It means so much to be part of the Women of Austin podcast. I'm from Austin, and to be surrounded by not just such strong women, but vulnerable and kind and good people that aren't afraid to put themselves out there and be real and just celebrate the incredible people that live in this city. I'm honored to be part.
Oh, well, I'm a really good basketball player.
That's right.
Okay, so I went to the Kenny Smith, I don't know if you guys know this. I used to love the Houston Rockets. I'm aging myself. This was in the 90s. And yeah, I can shoot three-pointers still to this day, so.
In high heels. I've seen it on your Insta.
In tall, spiky high heels.
Yes, I love that.
Hi, my name is Erin Lee. I'm originally from San Luis Obispo, California. Been in Texas for 16 years. I own Sukha Yoga Austin and Maha Coffee. Sukha Yoga is a community-focused center where we offer bhakti yoga or inspired meditation through the lens of mantra and breath work and vinyasa yoga. And the coffee shop, Maha, we opened in 2020. And we are a craft coffee shop offering local roasters, matcha, gluten-free bakes, right on South Lamar. Being part of the Women of Austin podcast today makes me feel more connected to other women and visionaries in my community. And I feel really grateful to share a little bit about what I'm doing in the world and hear and celebrate and support all the other offerings that these beautiful women are up to.
Yes, Erin?
All right, mine's going to be more historical. At 42, I found out that I'm half Mexican and that my birth father, my biological father, wasn't the father that raised me. And so over the last 2 years, I've really been uncovering and discovering a part of my identity and culture and my heritage that I had no clue about my entire life. And so there's lots to unpack, of course, around that, but I think that's something unique and beautiful and tender all at the same time. Nothing quite as fancy and sporty as you throwing those 3 shots, but yeah, that has been a big sort of shift in who I thought I was as a human being.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for sharing that. That's what a journey you're going on.
Yes, it has been,
exploring all that.
for sure, absolutely.
Wow. Well, that's a nice transition into our topic today, which is purpose. And I know both of you guys live beautiful lives where you really impact other people. And I just think it's really special to have you here today to talk about this. I got really excited when I found this quote because this is how I want to live. So Steve Maraboli said, "I want to live my life in such a way that when I get out of bed in the morning, the devil says, 'Oh shit, he's up.'" I loved that. And then Mark Twain said, the two most important days in life are the day you were born and the day you discover the reason why. I thought that was beautiful too. So as far as purpose goes, I know that it can be a lot of different things to a lot of different people at different times in their lives. But Erin, I'd like to start with you, and if you feel like you are aligned with your purpose and how that came to be.
Well, thank you. I resonate with the Mark Twain quote. Of the two, that one landed for me. Absolutely. I feel like every day that I wake up, I feel really grateful. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't have a lot of appreciation for the path that has unfolded for me. And whether through circumstances or choice, I feel like I get to do something that I feel proud of and that creates community and allows people to have a space to take care of themselves. And my daughters get to see their mother modeling something that, you know, maybe in my childhood, my generation, or my parents' generation, I didn't have that opportunity in the same way that I do, to live on purpose, to get to do things with my life that has an impact on others in a way that is healing and joyful and playful. And so I feel excited that I get to be inspiring to my kids. I think that's the biggest thing, is seeing my daughters watch my life. And even though they might not choose the same specific path, that they get to see their mother living from a place of heart and of clarity.
Mm-hmm. I like the waking up in the morning and feeling good, and I think that it's important that you try to do anything you can to wake up and feel good.
And it doesn't mean that every day I feel good. I mean, of course, there's seasons where, or days that I feel lonely or overwhelmed or scared, or afraid of, the future. I mean, just because of what I do for a living or how I show up in the world doesn't mean that I'm also not human.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important, though, to infuse your humanity into your passion and to recognize that you're having an impact on the world. And it starts with the immediate people around you, your children, your partners, your friends. The extended community is what creates that sort of like impact. As you make choices in your life or as you live on purpose, then that affects the people closest to you, your most intimate relationships. Because the world can feel overwhelming, and the complexities of the world can feel like you might just want to pull the covers back over your head and go, I don't want to get up today.
Yeah.
There's too much pain, there's too much confusion, there's too much chaos. Who am I and how am I supposed to make a difference in this world? And if we do think like that, of course, we're all going to pull the covers back over our head, because it is overwhelming. There is a lot of chaos, a lot of pain, a lot of confusion all the time, whether it be our lifetime, previous lifetimes, or those lives in the future. There's always going to be complexities, chaos, confusion, and circumstances that set up a feeling of overwhelm or like we aren't able to do enough. So we have to focus on doing one thing at a time. The next right thing is often my mantra. It's like, all right, what's the next right thing? And sometimes it's like brushing my teeth and, making a cup of coffee or sitting down to take a few breaths before stepping into my day.
Ashley, I think you can probably relate to some of that. I know that what you do can be heavy. And I commend you for the work. And I'd just like to hear about how you found your purpose, or if you feel like you're aligned. I know that you've made some changes since I've known you, actually, and I'd just love to hear more.
Yes, well, thank you. It's kind of beautiful when I went through something very hard when I was 19. I survived a very violent crime. It nearly took my life, but the beauty lies in that it was solved, and it was through DNA evidence, and that has kind of led me to my purpose, which I didn't know would be my purpose. I now have a foundation called the DNA Justice Project, but it was through this very painful situation that it's a lifelong healing, as we know, it's lifelong, but there's something beautiful when your purpose comes I feel like it's bigger than me, and seeing that I was able to survive that, and now to be able to transmute and transcend pain into change, and I'm a mother, and for my children to know that we can use these really hard circumstances and actually channel it to good in a way. It's been very healing. And my purpose has changed. Erin and I share love for yoga, and hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that. The healing part of yoga was instrumental in my life. And that was my purpose for a long time, was sharing that healing, which I still love. And now it's just developed into something bigger to where, I really believe it's bigger than me, not to be too hippy-dippy, but I do. It feels like it's a purpose that was given to me, and when you can follow your soul and that little inclination inside, as scary as it is, or maybe you don't really know where it's leading you, but I do believe when you listen, if you get quiet enough to listen to where you're supposed to go, you'll be taken care of, and you'll be guided to where you're supposed to. So that's kind of where my purpose, it's evolving, but comes from.
I love that you said that you had to get quiet and listen to find it, and then that you were talking about how yoga helped you. And I have you guys both here. Yes, let's talk more about that. Please, please, please. Like how yoga can be healing and help you find your purpose or get those moments like you could go. Like, teach me.
You go, Erin.
Get it, girls.
Something that I don't share a lot about in public ways is that I also have some trauma in my life and an experience when I was younger that really shifted how I felt safe in my body, safe in the world, and I can relate in a lot of ways to what Ashley alluded to. And gratefully, I found yoga at a fairly young age. I've been teaching for 21 years, which feels like a lifetime. And I feel like I'm continually uncovering and discovering and experiencing surrender and getting quiet and the growth process and the maturing process of practicing yoga. And by yoga, I don't mean like touching my toes or twisting myself into shapes. I mean the practice of what Ashley exactly said, was getting quiet, taking time to care for and be honest with myself, and utilize the tools, the larger umbrella of what yoga is to me. And so it manifests, of course, in so many ways, the physical practice, the meditative, quiet practices, but ultimately the tools and the skills of yoga in the larger sense are really about being able to have self-respect, about being able to honor and treat myself with kindness, to meet myself where I am over and over and over again, because it's easy to feel pressure, it's easy to feel like we're not doing enough, or the slip of time, and we can't hold on to it. So I think yoga guides me back to relaxing over and over again into my own skin. And I think that is a part of my purpose, is to create a space or spaces for other people to explore what it's like to be comfortable in their skin. And that it's not about the postures themselves, the physicality, but that becomes a gateway for learning about ourselves and relating to ourselves with a tremendous amount of humility and tenderness.
Do you have anything to add to that? Because I also, I'm also curious to know if it was helpful for you once you started your own yoga studio and then you watch other people come and heal themselves. Like, I want to hear what that was like.
when I survived, it was a sexual assault, and we didn't talk about it. It's hard to talk about, and I lived in silence for 13 years, but along the way, yoga had been my own way to process and to heal. And one of my greatest teachers, his name's Dan Nevins, he is incredible. He lost both of his legs in Afghanistan, and he is one of the most inspiring humans that you will ever meet. He's also a yoga teacher. You practice next to him. He takes his prosthetic legs off. He presses into handstand. He's in Warrior 2, and he's just a light. But he told me, and I'll never forget it, one of his teachers told him, in order to heal, you have to feel. And for me, that was what yoga did. I was numbing out, I was avoiding, but it made the uncomfortable come up. But through that, again, I was able to transcend that pain. And you have to feel it, and it's hard, and it's messy, and it's uncomfortable. But yoga really helped me, again, get back in my body, feel safe, and then being able to create a space, even though I wasn't public about what I had been through, but knowing that everyone has their own story, everyone has their own pain in a way, and things that they have been through, and to create a studio space, which Erin and Mark have so beautifully done, which I now go to Sukha all the time, but to see people come in with their own stories and know that even if there was just one person through all those years of Wanderlust, that I know that one person came in and they found healing, and they found a safe space, and they felt loved, and they felt maybe community when they felt isolated, that they were welcomed in there with open arms, and it was all worth it.
I so agree with that. That is it, 100%. If you can impact one person who might be feeling alone in whatever they're walking through, we don't have to know the details and the specifics of our individual suffering, our individual pains. We can relate on that universal energy of grief, of loneliness, of anger, of confusion, because every human being on this planet has experienced a version of that, even if the outer circumstances look different. And so for me, Sukha was born out of my own recovery process, my own healing process. Is when we opened Sukha's doors, it was only by the grace of my own healing and recovery that I had the clarity, the strength, the courage, the work ethic to put everything into something and really make it genuine to who I am as a person. And I think that is something that anyone who wants to go out there and do something in their life that feels meaningful is to tap into what feels true and genuine to who you are, and to not try to be like somebody else, but to offer from a place of your own experience or your own joy, and to amplify that and create spaces or go out there and do work, but born from a place of your own truth, rather than trying to keep up with somebody else or do what everyone else is doing, because that not only disserves everyone, but you end up not being happy. You don't feel fulfilled or that sense of contentment that you are contributing in a meaningful way, because you just kind of feel like you're just trying to keep up with everyone else or everything else, which is so exhausting.
Join the fun at Cycle Bar for the ultimate party on a bike. Cycle Bar's state-of-the-art studio combines cardio with strength training drills to help people of all ages and experience levels rock their ride and crush their goals. When you join Cycle Bar, you join a community that will cheer you on in each ride, milestone, and step along your fitness journey. Start today with your first free ride. Visit cyclebar.com and search for East Austin to learn more. Tula is your personal assistant at the push of a button. Tula's mission is to help you shift the second shift to find more time in your days to prioritize with purpose. Tula's team of trustworthy and incredibly savvy assistants, including chefs, will tackle everything on your list. Meal planning and prep, home organization, household management, errands, events, and so much more. It's like having your own personal assistant all the time, but without an all-the-time salary. Visit tulabalance.com today to get started. Hi, my name is Mindy, and I'm the founder of Women of Austin. Today, I'm really excited to talk about purpose. The two women that I have sitting with me today are living such inspirational, incredible lives, and I really admire them and look up to them. So I was really excited to have them on today and to share their stories and to learn a little bit more about their why. So thank you so much for joining us. Today we're shooting at the Commodore Perry Estates, and this place is just so incredible. It's a serene, peaceful place in the middle of the city, and they are just so accommodating and so wonderful and so supportive of women of Austin, and we just want to thank them so much for having us.
I think that the more we talk about and normalize awakenings, and by awakening I mean just like waking up to how we might not want to keep living the way that we have been living, or that your voice and your story matters because there might be somebody out there who's alone or feeling afraid or experienced what you've experienced and not have somebody out there that they can look to say, you too, you've also walked through that, or you've also experienced those things. And I remember when you started, putting yourself out there and doing the work that you do now. And even though I never reached out to you to say it, I was like, I felt connected to you in that way because of my own experience as a young person. And I was celebrating you and cheering you on and hoping that everything that unfolded from your process would make a difference in other people's lives, because I don't know how old you are, but yes, growing up in the 80s and the 90s, you don't talk about sexual assault. You don't talk about alcohol, drug addiction, or any other type of addiction that really diminishes your capacity to live your truest life and to have and live on purpose. And Sukha was born from my own recovery journey. I would not have been able to do what I do now in the world if I was still numbing out, if I was still disconnected from my humanity. And so when I got into recovery, I felt like I had a second chance at life, and I felt like, I don't know who sings that song, "That girl is on fire."
Yes.
Okay, so is that Rihanna? Is that?
I think it's
Alicia
Keys.
God help me, Alicia Keys. I'm sorry, Alicia Keys. Thank you. That was like my anthem. I was on fire.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I literally had a second chance at life. That I had been numb and completely disconnected from everyone and everything, that I didn't even know what I wanted in my life. I felt like I was living this like fake life, going through the motions. And at the time I was married, and I know all of us have been married and walked through divorce, and all have young children. And that whole experience, my ex-husband at the time, and I'm so grateful to him looking back, but he one day had found a pamphlet in his backpack that said what to do when a loved one has an addiction. And I was so angry. I pulled this out and I raged at him, and I was like, "F you. I am fine. Why do you have this?" But that was the moment that I realized that I didn't. And even though through the process of getting sober and getting the help I needed, it meant that my marriage dissolved and changed. It was from a place of like honesty and truth. And so there wasn't that anger or messiness. It was more like heartache and tenderness of, okay, now that I'm clear thinking and clear seeing and actually in my body doing my work to heal myself, this isn't working anymore. And so we were able to, as best we could with friendship, transition our relationship into what it looks like now. And I'm so grateful for it, even though it was such a mess.
Right.
Isn't it
So
always?
messy, oh my gosh.
So life goes.
Yes. And then what you find on the other side is like, no matter where you go, there you are. Hi.
Yep.
And so don't divorce. Like, it's not really the point. It's like the relationship that you come into next, if you're bringing that same history, you're going to find the same kind of issues. And so it's like whether you stay or you go, as far as divorce, you've got to go and do your own inner work. Otherwise, it's like you just keep repeating a version of that. Here I am again. Here I am again.
Cryo & Co., introducing the best in Italian-German design for body slimming and toning and fat and cellulite reduction. When diet and exercise aren't enough, Cryo & Co. can help. The non-invasive body contouring treatment freezes the fat and your body eliminates it naturally via the lymphatic system. Common areas of treatment are the belly, glutes, thighs, upper arms, face, and more. If you can pinch it, they can treat it. Visit atxcryoshape.com today to see what Cryo & Co. can do for you. Women of Austin would like to thank our community sponsors. Hot Works Austin Lakeline at Anderson Mill Road and FM 620. Torch those calories in a third of the time with their virtually instructed infrared sauna workouts. Open 24 hours at Hot Works Austin Lakeline. Dave's Ultimate Automotive. With 6 locations, there's sure to be one near you. Visit davesultimateautomotive.com and become a part of the Dave's family today. Magic Robot. Does your company use Salesforce? Get valuable hidden data that only Magic Robot can deliver. MagicRobot.com. Elite Marquee and Events. High-quality LED marquee letters and more to help create an unforgettable celebration at Elite Marquee Austin. I just wanted you to tell us a little bit more about the DNA Justice Project and just a couple of the things that you've accomplished, and I just want to really give you a moment to shine some light on that.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. So my case, it was actually solved through DNA, as I had said, DNA evidence, and there was a law in California where my perpetrator was arrested that upon all arrests for felonies, DNA is taken. So that's not a law that's everywhere around the United States. So had it not been for that law, then this man would still be out there, and he was a very violent serial criminal. And what I have learned from this is that we have the tools, we have the policy, and we have the technology and the expertise to actually prevent these crimes from happening to other people. Mm-hmm. And so my work now is, I do a lot of state-to-state work. So unfortunately, I had some bills in Arizona and Mississippi, West Virginia. They did not end up passing this session, which, this makes me almost tear up, because it's, it works. But what I'm inspired by is that what we need to do now more than ever is just come together. We are so divided. Everyone is so angry, and until we can start to come together and come back to love and truth and do things for the greater good of the whole, like the we, that's when the work's gonna really change. But I'm evolving. It's new. I was just in Kenya speaking at a big DNA for Africa conference, and I'm inspired to keep going because there is so much work to do. And if we all gave up when it was hard, whether it's yoga or doing this, because there are hard moments in all of our lives, but the more we can continue to we have to be our own. We have to be the fighters for what's good and what we know. And it's not going to be easy, but we need to find our purpose and to stay true to that and know that it can shift. But as long as we hold the purpose and know it's for the greater good, like I do believe that the universe or God or whatever you believe will take care of you and in your purpose and in your mission. So it's newer, but it's where I'm meant to be.
It's so inspiring.
So inspiring.
Yeah, it's so inspiring. It's like your yoga has grown, right? So when I mentioned earlier, like, yoga isn't about touching your toes or twisting and bending yourself. It's like Ashley is living yoga. She is living her yoga in such a big way. Thank you for the work you're doing.
Oh, and thank you.
Yeah.
We all are. Yeah. We're living it.
Well, whatever
the
scale.
yoga of life.
It's so amazing. Yeah, I'm so grateful.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here. This was such a wonderful conversation, and thank you for coming on and just being authentic and sharing, and I just really appreciate it, and I'm so grateful to know you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks so much for joining us today on the Women of Austin podcast. A new episode premieres twice a month right here on the Women of Austin channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notifications bell so you never miss an episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at women_of_Austin. My name is Mindy Hofman. I hope you'll join us for our next episode of the Women of Austin podcast.